With the 31st overall pick in the 2025 NBA draft, the Phoenix Suns selected Rasheer Fleming and then came back in at number 41 to select Koby Brea. And these are some fantastic value selections, as the Suns were clearly targeting these two players by trading up to these two picks. I knew as soon as I saw 31 and 41 what the two picks were going to be in Rasheer Fleming and Koby Brea. And these are the two picks for a reason. Rasheer Fleming is a guy who clearly dropped out of that first round and was the number one prospect on the board of many teams who were looking to trade up to the pick. And the Suns drafted him at 31 and then came back in at 41 to draft the knockdown shooter in Koby Brea. But first, let's start taking a look at what made Rasheer Fleming so great last season at St. Joe's. There's a little bit of film, so we're just going to keep running it in the background. But Rasheer Fleming was a knockdown shooter. He knocked down 39% of his threes last season. And yeah, I mean, the physical stats are really what showed out for Rasheer Fleming. Testing in at the combine at 6'8" with a 7'5" wingspan, which is insane. He's just got a great wingspan. He's a clear NBA 4, can play some small ball 5, and is just one of the perfect possible prospects for the Suns, who've really put an emphasis on prioritizing size and long wingspan players like Rasheer Fleming. This is also a guy who I think he had 103 combined steals and blocks during his season at St. Joe's, and he's one of the younger players for his class. Even though he's a little bit older, he is from an advanced class. I believe he's a junior. He is still pretty young. And yeah, that really nice 3-point shot. As you can see in these clips, you're going to see it a bit more in the next few, that he just takes any bit of space he can get, even if it's in transition, and he will just pull that 3-point shot. Even this closeout right here, closeout seems to be right there, and he just pulls it. He's really got a nice 3-point shooting stroke, and he's just unafraid to shoot it, just like Koby Brea is as well. And yeah, sorry about it popping off the screen right there, because I'm going to check some stats for giving you some numbers for Rasheer Fleming. He shot what is this, 37% from 3 unguarded threes, 43% on unguarded threes. He's not shooting threes off the dribble, but he did do a really great job in guarded and unguarded situations. And as we're going to hear with Koby Brea, he's going to be even better in guarded situations. He's about 75th percentile in both guarded and unguarded catching 2 threes. He just doesn't care. He just knocks it down, uses a high release point to score over some of these smaller players in a just not great A10 conference. And yeah, he just was fantastic this season with St. Joe's. Even if he's playing against some lesser competition, there's at least a few good games to take a look at him in, as we'll see with his defensive ability, which is also exceptional. He's great quick hands. He uses every bit of that wingspan, a plus 9-inch wingspan, to really take up so much space on the floor. He really likes moving off the ball a little bit. He can move as a pick and pop type of player, or you can use a little piston action to open him up, and he'll knock down the threes with the bit of space he can get. And he also likes attacking in transition, and this is where he looks like a lot more promising of a prospect, because it's kind of given those kind of hey, isn't this kind of what that Jalen Johnson type of tape? I don't know. It's got a little bit of that Jalen Johnson tape type of feel to it, where he's going off the dribble and finishing in transition, finding ways to score. Like here, he's just wide open, absorbs the content, gets to the rim, and just finishes it. Just using all that length, all that size, using a contest right there with his size. Rasheer Fleming is just a fantastic prospect and a home run hit at the 31st overall pick. And the Suns, I mean, they did a great job of trading up for him. They didn't really give up that much in the grand scheme of things. Just a lot of future second round picks and moving up from the picks they had in 52 and 59. And yeah, there's this Rasheer Fleming guy. He just knocks down threes in transitions. He tries to attack to the rack when he's got a little bit of steam going downhill. He can do stuff a little bit off the dribble in transition. He doesn't really do much else off the dribble, but yeah, just doing stuff like that, finishing through contact against a Charleston team that had some pretty talented players on it. Here's a deflection, now going down in transition. Rasheer Fleming, gets a nice bounce pass, absorbs the contact, finishes and one. He's just really solid. And I'm glad the Suns ended up making this pick and getting in to take him. He's exactly what the Suns need, especially at that power forward position. That's probably the weakest spot on the floor for them right now, because they can play some of those shooting guards at the small forward position. Probably Dillon Brooks at the small forward position. I guess Jalen Green is our starting shooting guard with D-Book at the 1. You need to fill out that point guard position. Maybe Tyus Jones wants to come back, but yeah, I just love these like quick hands. Not only does he have that great wingspan, he also just has the hands to get his get those he's got pretty strong hands. Just get them in there, deflects passes just like this, rip the ball away from the players. You know, we'll see how it pans out in the NBA as we're watching clips of LaSalle right now, but yeah, Rasheer Fleming just shows a whole lot of promise on both defensively and offensively. Even there's like signs of him being maybe able to do stuff off the dribble, at least attack the closeouts, attack and transition, find ways to score, and of course knock down that 3 ball, which is the most important thing that's going to keep him on the floor. This is an amazing second round pick, and it's really hard seeing him have like a low floor, or I mean he's a pretty high floor, I meant to say. And yeah, I'm looking forward to see this man play in a Suns jersey. Hopefully we don't flip him like we did with Toumani Camara. Please, Suns, don't do this again. I just want to see this man play in a Suns jersey. And I think this new organization is not going to be so easily willing to let him go as much as they were with Toumani Camara back with that DeAndre Ayton trade. And yeah, just being able to be there, be a help side defender, just pretty much operate as a center, sit in the paint when he needs to, just be able to do whatever he needs to do as a secondary shot blocker on the floor or primary shot blocker on the floor. He's always a threat, and having dual shot blockers is a really interesting mode for the Suns to look at for, you know, the rest of their these next few years. This is just a really promising draft to combine this with the pick of Kaman Malawak, the trade for Mark Williams, which obviously looks very puzzling, but the Suns were making that trade around pick 8 when they expected the Raptors to draft Malawak, and then ended up panicking and just taking the best player available at 10 in Malawak. I don't think the Mark Williams trade is actually really that horrible. You really didn't give up that many assets. Even though you're overloaded at the center position, at least you have a lot of valuable players at the position, and you can really increase the value of Mark Williams by starting him this season and just seeing what you could get out of him, whether you want to keep him as a rotation guy or whether you want to flip him in some other deal. I really like that last block, by the way. Just being able to recover back, fast switch, and just get there. He's a pretty good mover as well. Putting him in space, these clips are just him defending in space a little bit more, recovering back and blocking that shot right there. And don't really know what else we're gonna take a look at. I think we're gonna look at some isolation defense in the next few clips. I think this will probably be us looking at isolation clips right here, playing against Dayton, who's a pretty solid team in the A10, just staying in front of the guard, staying in front and blocking the shot. The isolation clips actually looked pretty darn good for him. He ranked in as a I don't know what, right here against a VCU team that was pretty good. This is not exactly one of their best players that's dribbling the ball right now, I don't think, but just staying in front, moving his feet. He just looks pretty darn good. He just stays in front. Not the greatest ball handler. I'm sure an NBA player would get a bucket there, but just staying in front, showing an ability to move his feet and potentially be able to guard out on the perimeter is promising. It's not the most active, it's not the most mobile, but at least he's giving an effort here against Ante Brzovic. I actually have no idea how this guy's name's pronounced, but a guy who probably will end up in the NBA eventually. Just poke it loose, just stay in front, use his body to absorb the contact against the bigger player. But these last few clips are him getting cooked by some Princeton players who are pretty darn good. Probably will be seeing them in the NBA, and Caden Pierce and Xavier Lee. Just right here, Caden Pierce is just going to say, I'm an NBA player. This is probably the one game of Rasheer Fleming I watched this season. Just gets hit with that bump. Caden Pierce gets to his left hand. He's going to finish that one. Actually, I did not put in the Xavier Lee one. But moving on to Koby Brea, just an exceptional catch and shoot 3-point shooter. Just a home run hit of a player for the Phoenix Suns that could always use more 3-point shooting. You've got some players who've questionable efficiencies in Jalen Green, Bradley Beal, and Dylan Brooks, who's also not the most consistent shooter, even though he got up to, I think, 40% from 3 last season. You can't always just bet on Dylan Brooks being a good 3-point shooter every year, so bring in a guy who just is a knockdown 3-point shooter. On spot ups this college season, he shot 45% from 3, and yeah, this man is just unreal. He is just such a good 3-point shooter. If he catches the ball and it's anywhere near the 3-point line, he's probably going to make it. He shot 44% from 3 this season, and yeah, he's doing it in a few different ways. He really liked these shots in transition, and he's contested on around 3/4 of his shots. And he was in the 97th percentile of all NCAA basketball players shooting threes contested. He was just amazing. He shot 47% from 3 on guarded threes, and he shot 39% on unguarded. This man was absurd this season as a shooter in contested situations. 96th percentile as a catch and shoot 3-point shooter. And oh yeah, he was also 97th percentile off the dribble. He didn't really take a whole lot of dribbles most of the time, as we'll see in the next few clips after these catch and shoot threes. But yeah, he uses the dribbles he needs to. He uses a rhythm dribble, uses a little dribble to just escape, and just right here, he's just gonna take a tough 3 over the big Yor Milicic Jr. He just says, "Nah, I'm just make it. It's a big. I'll shoot over you. You're scared of me driving a little bit. I'm gonna knock it down." Koby Brea has shown a little bit of an ability to get off the dribble, and it's pretty exciting to see. I mean, that shows that he's got somewhere to go. I mean, here Kasper Sakashonis jumps, hey, just shoot it over the top. Kentucky's gonna end up winning this game because Koby Brea went crazy in this one. We're gonna see a lot of clips from this Illinois game because, you know, it's an NCAA tournament game. It's some of our best possible film we can look at. Koby Brea just pulling it back, using the screen, getting to his mid-range jumper as well. A little bit off the dribble. He's not exactly the biggest hunter of the twos. I mean, the threes are where he's going to be the most effective, but at least he's got some ability off the dribble to operate in the pick and roll. There, he's got no one in front of him. He's going to knock it down from 3 off the dribble, off that screen. He was pretty effective as a pick and roll ball handler. He was above the 90th percentile in spot up handoffs, pick and roll ball handler, and transition and isolation. That's insane, especially for a player that you're selecting in the second round who shot 44% from 3. Suns, this is just a stellar pick. You're talking about a guy who's also 6'6", a guy expected to come in at probably like 6'4" in the NBA draft combine, who measured in at 6'6", even though he's got a negative wingspan of 6'5". This is a can't miss prospect for the Suns, especially if you're looking to move on from some of the shooting guards that you've acquired. You really have like 4 good shooting guards on the roster in Booker, Beal, Green, and Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen probably is the odd man out, and this is kind of your Grayson Allen like prototype-ish replacement. He's not the same player. He's nowhere near the same level as Grayson Allen right away, obviously, because you selected him at the 41st pick in the second round. But hey, at least he's in that same type of mold of player that if you need a type of Grayson Allen to come on the floor, you can put out Koby Brea. And yeah, the Suns will be pretty. Yeah, you just caught his man stumbling right there a little bit and just decides to pull it. I mean, man, this guy's fun to watch, and I'm excited to see what Koby Brea will do in a Suns jersey. Again, please, Suns, don't trade your second round picks before they even play a single game in your jersey. Please don't make the same mistake again with Toumani Camara, who's just been fantastic. I mean, just there also attacking off the dribble. He gets to the rim a little bit. He's not the worst player getting to the rim. He finds his ways, whether it's off cuts, whether it's off the dribble and pick and roll. Not so much in ISO, but yeah, just a nice cut like this. Those cuts are going to be there. You're playing off of some of the best players in the NBA, scoring off the dribble and in the pick and roll. There's going to be cuts. There's going to be bigs who have some ability to pass the ball, especially like an Oso Ighodaro if he's out there at backup center. In those like backup bench minutes with Koby Brea, he's going to be thriving off of those types of passes, these backdoor cuts that center poor Kentucky does very well here. There again, backdoor cut. It's his best way to get to the rim. And yeah, especially when you're such a nice knockdown 3-point shooter, you've got everything on the everything to be scared of as a shooter. Sometimes those backdoor cuts just open up. And yeah, now we're gonna take a little bit of a look at Koby Brea in isolation. Right here, he's gonna get matched up against the Kai Ziegler. They're gonna just keep throwing them through screens until they get the switch onto Zakai, who's one of the better ball handlers in the NCAA, and we'll be moving on to the NBA. Just gets attacked. It's just too easy sometimes against Koby Brea. His defense is not all the ways there, and that's why he was the 41st pick of the NBA draft. He is just not an exceptional defender, and I thought some of these clips were pretty promising, even though he's got the negative wingspan, but they're promising enough, as we'll see later in the shot clock. Right here, he's gonna get driven against late shot clock. Stays in front, gets a little bump, pretty good contest, and you just gotta have to live with that shot. It's a pretty good contest, and you live with it. Right here, again, against Illinois in the NCAA tournament, he's gonna get matched up against Kylan Boswell, one of the more experienced players in the NCAA, third-year player. He's just gonna drive in and just take this man. I mean, it's kind of sad, but Koby Brea, he's gonna find ways to improve. I mean, he's showing some ability to bump and stay in front, and it happens right here. He's gonna get switched on to Mark Sears, who's a pretty scary guy to be switched on against, but just stays in front, moves his feet well, and sends the player into the shot blocker, which is what the Suns are going to be looking to do a lot with the shot blockers they've assembled with Rasheer Fleming, Kamal Malawak, Mark Williams, Nick Richards. And Koby Brea again here against Oklahoma, stays in front, pretty decent closeout. Again, NBA players probably make that, but just promising enough efforts again against Mark Sears, probably one of the best ball handlers in the SEC. Just stays in front, moves his feet, bump, shot blocker comes across, and it's no good for Mark Sears. Pretty darn promising defender, and that about covers it for all of the film that I've assembled for this video. Now we're just gonna switch over to this scene. Oop. Eventually we'll get there. There we go. Yeah, the Suns really hit it out of the park with these two draft picks. They really have assembled a nice, promising core that fans can be pretty darn excited about. Making two great second-round picks along with a very high-value first-round pick. This is great. I mean, the trades might be very confusing, and I have no idea what they're doing with trading for Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, Mark Williams. It doesn't really make sense with the draft, but if you're talking about purely the draft, this is an A+ draft to build around Devin Booker. It's just everything else that I like. I don't really know what to say. But great job by the Suns. They signed, I think, CJ Huntley from App State onto a two-way deal. Honestly, a guy I've never seen before. I'm very excited about these two guys because I know a lot about them and I have watched them. But CJ Huntley, honestly don't know anything about him. We'll be interested to see what he will do in the summer league, and I'll be interested to see what who else the Suns pick up on two-way deals. Maybe it's in the cards to pick up Ryan Nembhard and try to compete, or put him in there and compete with the other point guards that the Suns have been looking at, like Colin Gillespie. He's been in and out of the rotation, and yeah, maybe Ryan Nembhard is the guy who ends up sticking around. Who knows? But yeah, this is a great draft. Is it the most topical for the situation the Suns are in due to their other trades of players? No, definitely not. I don't know what we're doing, but if you're talking about the draft, it's about purely acquiring the talents that is going to be relevant to your future, and they did that. It's not all about the team situation when you're in the draft. It's about building around the stars that you have, and you can figure everything else out later. And that's what the Suns did. And I think that's kind of like the headspace, that like very like short-term headspace that so many people are in when looking at the draft, is that you just can't see past that short term. And of course, the short term matters like opportunity wise, but like with these picks, it's not purely a short-term thing. These are long-term players that you're gonna be trying to sign to long-term deals, so you have them around and are, you know, using them as building blocks to hopefully return to title contention. And this is the way you do it. This is absolutely the way you do it, with making high value picks, trading up to get the players you want, and just players that are perfect fits with the roster and the mentality that you're trying to build. The Suns have done a fantastic job here in purely the draft. The other trades I cannot really comment on, but your draft picks were very, very good. Making that 10th overall selection as to be Kaman Malawak after receiving that pick in the Kevin Durant trade makes that Kevin Durant trade a little bit more valuable for the team after the trade seems pretty puzzling because Kevin Durant for that type of deal is kind of, you know, it feels like you should have gotten a little bit more, but yeah, it's okay. You'll live with it. Suns made the best of it in the draft, and they got to figure out the rest of the situation with trades and free agency. I don't really know. I hope there's still another trade to come to get Jalen Green off of this roster. Please, please, Phoenix, don't mess this up. Please just tell me this whole Jalen Green is a key piece for the organization is just a negotiating tactic. Please tell me it's just a tactic. Please, I really don't want him on my team. I would love to see Jalen Green gone. I need to see Jalen Green gone. I'd probably want to see one of Grayson Allen and Bradley Beal gone as well, just because I just don't like the contracts at all, and I think the Suns just kind of need to move on. But yeah, hopefully Bradley Beal, obviously that's a lot more of a priority to trade than Grayson Allen, but like, just move on and find ways to improve this roster however it's possible. Please just do it. Please get it done before that July 6th deadline of trades becoming finalized. Please find some way to bounce Jalen Green off this roster. I swear, it almost hurts me more than seeing Bradley Beal on the team is that Jalen Green might be considered a positive asset somewhere and you haven't flipped him yet. Like, please find a way to flip him. Please find a way to flip him. And that makes everything else make just a little bit more sense if you can flip him and Nick Richards and, I don't know, maybe even Oso Ighodaro, considering he's not really a power forward and, you know, you have 4 centers on your roster. Do you really want such a logjam with your long-term contracts? I don't really know. I don't know. I like Oso. I'm not really in a big hurry to trade him, but if you can get value out of him that makes sense, then maybe you do consider it. Just because he's just not that much of like a potential superstar. He's just kind of like a potential key role player piece. And so if you can get value out of him, like, okay, maybe find a way. But also, you know, if you don't, just keep him around because he's pretty darn good and I'd like to see him around. But I think that about covers it. I've said way too much in this video, talked about way too many topics. So that's about it. If you made it all the way to the end and you aren't already subscribed, make sure you scroll down and hit that button. You know, you probably want to stick around and see a bit more whenever it comes out. Maybe it's in a year, maybe it's in a few days. Who knows? Who knows with me? But that's about it. I hope to see you in the next one, whenever it is. See ya.